This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Going to start off with some cricket, and South Africa's T20 World Cup campaign's off to a bit of a shaky start. The Women's World Cup hasn't actually started, but it's off to a shaky start for this reason. The captain ran 18 seconds too slow on her 2K time trial. Her name is Danae Vanderkert. And she's not...
They dropped her.
They dropped her. She's not in the squad.
Oh, they dropped the captain.
The captain. 18 seconds too slow on a 2K. I don't know what the time was.
Yes.
But they set a limit.
Yep.
If you cannot run this, you're out.
18 seconds behind her.
She's out. Done and dusted.
Do you have to be a fast runner in cricket, really?
Well, I
between
don't
the
think
wickets,
so,
you've
no.
got to
Yeah, I
sprint,
get that,
but that's
but
what's that, 22 yards?
Yeah.
Like 2K.
Like anyone can run quickly from something. It's
Yeah.
it's the endurance to get going.
Yeah, and if you look at the history of cricket, I don't know, they've got way better
Yes.
these days. Like the
Oh, they're so
Scorchers are
professional
fit.
now. Yeah, exactly.
But most of them, I mean, David
Like,
Boone and all these
yeah.
blokes, none of them.
They're not doing 100-metre
Move,
sprints.
Well,
really.
yeah,
Yes.
like running after, like fielding, but that's at most, 40 metres?
Yeah,
50 metres?
At most.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd put her in the slips. If she's captain, she probably
Yes.
calls herself, I'll just sit in the slips and take
Yeah.
a few grabs.
So
Mark
is
Taylor
she
did
just
that
going to
all
be
his
like
life.
an on-the-bench captain or what? Or what happens when the
Well,
captain...
she's not-
They're going to have to replace her, no?
Well, that's it, so they're going to give
She's
it to
off.
some
She's off out of the squad.
quick, fast young lass.
Yes, I believe so. Anyway, those time trials, God, get you every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't they, Nathan?
Oh, mate.
Oh, the
ones
time
we-
trials we have to do in our
Yeah.
pre-season every year.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's insane.
heat of the day
It's like
and-
who can get the studio the quickest. And it's never Shaun.
Unless you tell me we've got Damien Oliver on the phone. Watch me run then.
Or what was the
Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson.
Seven spoke the other
Yeah.
day.
Luke
Very
Shuey
cool.
will captain the West Coast Eagles, as we know, for a fourth year. 32 years of age.
Yeah.
Everyone was suggesting that it was probably the right time to move on to Tommy Barris. When you're the captain, I'm not sure if you're just willingly just giving it up. Although,
Shannon
in
Hearn
my
did.
time, Shannon Hearn did, and Peter Bell gave it to Matthew Pavlich, thought it was the time for him to
Oh,
take
for you?
over.
Yeah. And
So-
David Mundy steps aside for Fifey
Yes, he did. So it'll be interesting to see if Nat Fyfe follows Luke Shuey's
and sticks it out.
and sticks it out for another year at the helm of the Fremantle Dockers. But Luke Shuey, good luck to him.
I love Luke Shuey. He's the best.
Yep, good luck to him. Australia have begun a new era under Wallabies coach Eddie Jones. Now,
Back
Eddie
again.
last coached them in 2005. He took them to the 2003 Rugby World Cup where they were beaten by England. Johnny Wilkinson, remember him? He was the super boot.
Yes.
Just banged them over all
Yeah,
the
he
time.
did. Yeah.
He killed us in that one. And anyway, Eddie is hoping that Australian rugby can get back to the top this season.
We want to play with a certain panache. We want to play tough. So at the end of games, when those tight games, you win those tight games by 1 or 2 points, and that's the traditional Australian digger spirit. We want that in the team, and that's the opportunity for this group of players this year.
So did he get sacked last time?
He got sacked in 2005, after that, 2 years after that Rugby World Cup.
So-
he went around the world and was very successful.
Because most recently he was coaching in England.
Yep, and they had a great time under him.
And then they sacked him.
Japan was another one. They sacked him, but that's one.
And
of
now
those
he's back
positions.
again. He's done the full lap.
Yeah,
Back again.
What I do like, he's 63, and I think in a lot of workplaces
he
and
looks good
stuff,
for
everyone's ages
63.
these days, so
Yeah.
it's good to see that he's back in the helm in that way. And I categorically believe this Wallabies team will now turn themselves around under his guidance.
Oh, well, then
Wow,
they're out.
that's the end of them then.
Gee,
This
Shaun.
Rugby World Cup, you watch Australia go under Eddie Jones, they'll be very successful.
Okay, now they're going to die in a
You've
plane
really
crash.
doubled down, haven't you?
Shaun, why?
Why are you doing this to
Why
the
do you
Wallabies?
curse
No, I
innocent
believe it.
sport
I actually do
people?
believe it.
No, that's what's
Oh, I
wrong.
know.
That's the problem.
Stop it.
So next you're going to say you're putting money on them, and then they're really done.
God, stop believing.
love.
You really tapped into Abby's song this morning.
Are you done?
I'm done.
I think you've done enough damage.
About to catch up with our good friend Richo from Channel 7. Will be covering all the action of the Perth Scorchers playing. By the way, it's this Saturday, the final at Optus Stadium, 4:15. We have some of the last tickets in town to give away.
Hottest tickets
This
in town.
Saturday, 39 degrees, yes?
That's all.
39 degrees.
That's all, Nathan. If you want to be at the furnace for the decider, give us a call now on 13 24 10. 2 tickets will go to caller number 11.
All
Done
right.
just like that. Richo, good morning, my friend.
Oh, brilliant to be with you. Shawnee Matt comes back from holidays. Who would have bloody thought?
Yeah, just like half an hour
Yeah.
ago.
First day back.
Richo, I'm staring down the barrel of doing 5 days this week. I'm not happy about it.
Oh, how dare you? Have you got little mini-me, your son, who's the greatest lookalike in the history of mankind, is he alongside you?
That was Lachlan. He met Richo, and the poor bastard all night he was copying. Geez, you look like your dad the whole night.
No child wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear that.
Oh, except for when your dad is as scrumptious as Shawnee Mack is. Come on, people.
Come on, get around him, Richo.
Get around him.
Wow. I
Hey,
can't believe
exactly
broke that
like
mountain.
everyone is getting around the Perth Scorchers. So tickets went on sale about 4 days ago. 35,000 seats snapped up within a day. It is unbelievable how popular the Scorchers are in Perth. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, there'll be
And
50,000 there on Saturday.
Also, people knowing how hot it's going to be too.
Yeah.
they'll
Like, for them to be
Don't
braving
care.
the heat to
It's
go
the
and do that.
Scorchers at the furnace. It just makes sense to be 39.
because Richo, you wouldn't know because these people won't be in a box, and I don't know what have you ever experienced cricket outside of a box?
What, without glass between you and the action?
Yeah. So there's no air conditioning, there's no food and drinks, and there's just like a seat in the heat. Do you know that people do that?
I'm not familiar with that whole concept, but I love the sound of you Philistines over there.
Some of those seats are in full sun for a while as well. Yeah.
Oh, Richo would have the big brim number on.
Yeah, you
one
would,
to,
Joe.
And
just
a
protect the box.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Hey, they simply win, don't they? They are the most dominant team, maybe in Australian domestic sport. The way they've been able to mould that list and a couple of players go out and they bring in these young guns. Like, now, did you cop your eyes on Aaron Hardy?
Oh, I know.
6'6" of just hunkfest. He is absolutely brilliant. So he comes in, he bats at 3, bowls at 140k. What's not to love about him? They've got so many good players.
And I mean, Cameron
I reckon
Bancroft wasn't
they'll
even
play
playing the
against
first half of the season.
Yeah,
And now look
Cameron
at him. He's
Bancroft's gone particularly
nuts.
well.
Oh, that's right. Oh, bangers. We just, us mighty Scorchers, because I've become a Scorcher, we just rested him for the first 6
pulled
weeks
him off the
and
bench.
then just launched him in. So good. It's amazing, the talent there.
Now, Richo, you've been around cricket for a while now. So I heard Justin Langer at a luncheon just recently talk about the fact that he'd actually play Cameron Bancroft back in the Australian team. He reckons he's one of the best openers in Australia. Do you reckon Cameron will ever get past the sandpaper gate scenario and
Like if the other two
afforded
can,
an
he
opportunity?
can. Surely.
Well, 100%. And you've touched on the point. The other two, not only have they overcome it, Steve Smith won the Allan Border Medal on Monday night, and Dave Warner won the Limited Over Player of the Year for Australia. So all is forgiven there. That won't hold Cam Bancroft back. What will hold him back is the fact that Steve Smith's just shown at the Big Bash how brilliant he is. Keep in mind, in the last T20 World Cup, Steve Smith couldn't get a game.
No, couldn't.
Yeah.
It's not as though it's an easy team to get into. So Smith's ahead of Bancroft when you think about the first players selected back into that one-day lineup.
I mean,
But
not if you
Cam
go by
Bancroft
last
should
Saturday
be
night,
considered for
though.
test.
You consider him in the test?
Well, gee, haven't listened to you, Miss Cricket, over there. Just
I was
throwing-
there. I saw it with
throwing
my
out-
own
Yeah,
eyes.
Miss Benno, we call her.
Nat Benno. Now listen, Nat Benno. What, are you wearing the ivory, the bone, the off-white?
The beige.
It's top.
It must be hard for when Bancroft was in the other day. I felt like because he's a really nice guy, but I felt like he's slightly on edge because he thinks that you're going to bring up that scandal.
There was a
And it must be
defensiveness.
so. It must be so hard to enter any conversation thinking that someone's going to throw that in your face, and we never would have. I mean, I didn't
No.
even remember, to be honest. Yeah, so that must
and,
be
and the
hard.
reality is he's probably done 500 interviews since then. He's always willing to wear the mic for us on Channel 7.
Yeah.
He knows and he trusts that we're never bringing that up. I mean, that was part of our cricketing past that we'd all love to forget. We've learned lessons from it, but no one's reminding him of it time and time again. He performed the crime, he's paid the price, and now he's back playing elite cricket for the Scorchers, and eventually I can imagine he'll be back in the mix for
you would
Australia.
think,
Maybe at test level he might end up being an opening bat again for Australia.
Hey, Richo, how many stories are you frightened of people bringing up when you're talking to them?
Well, thank God most of my average stuff was back in black and white vision. So there's a lot of people that have forgotten.
No phones. That was a good time.
But
for
I
a
have to
young
say, where he
person.
parked that penny farthing. Oh my God, that wouldn't be allowed these days. And it was the big wheel.
Thank God Cobb and Co. can't tell anything.
Hey, Richo, after the BBL's finishing this weekend, what's the next port of call? I mean, obviously, it's racing season for you always, but is there any World
next?
Championships coming up? Commonwealth Games, Olympics, where are we at?
Pickleball.
Well, I've still got the black armband on around my magnificent left bicep at the moment because the Seven Network lost the right for the Olympic Games, believe it or not.
Whoa! What happened
So
there,
no,
mate?
no
Well,
Paris 20 to 24 then.
They did a review of the footage of him.
From Japan.
The Olympic Committee decided this cannot happen again.
They had a look at that Peaky Blinders stuff and went, no, we don't want any of this.
Apparently, Thomas Bach saw my dude dad dancing in the snow and went, we've got to get rid of that flog.
No time for snowy dad dancing.
Well, a bit of a hiatus from the major sport then, perhaps.
Yeah, so racing, a little bit of track and field throughout the Australian season, culminating in the Power Course Stall gift on Easter Monday. Have we got time for me to go through my 52 steps to liberate a young nation?
Yeah,
we probably don't. So.
How quick was it? How quick was it? Did you do it in 10 what?
Look, only the third fastest in 150 years. But once we get a bigger sample size, we'll get excited about it.
And what was your handicap? What were you running off?
Well, I had a limp. Does that help?
Richo, is your daughter a great runner? Have you got a...
I've got there, my youngest one, she goes all right. She's having a good time, enjoying it. But yeah, she got a couple of medals at the Australian All Schools. So maybe one day she might want to follow. Yeah, maybe she might want to go past my pathetic footsteps and charge towards my wife's footsteps. Unfortunately, my wife went to 2 Olympic Games and won a Commonwealth gold medal, so I'm the dud of the family, I can assure you.
Sorry, we know.
I didn't know that, Richo. What events was your wife in?
Who's she?
Her name was Kate, and her name still is Kate, which is great. She doesn't know I'm about to trade her in.
Her name is Kate, but I call her Bring Me Dinner.
I call her my first wife. 1,500 metres, 5,000 metres.
Kate Anderson.
Correct.
That's outstanding.
Wow.
Okay, so you've got the sprint genes and the distance genes, so therefore the 400 metres is probably right where you sit as a purple patch for your children?
Well, I've got a very simple theory. Once you've been around the track once, there's nothing else to see. So why the hell would you go any race with a bell in it? Stuff that.
I agree.
Amazing.
I agree.
Oh, Richo, hilarious.
Well, Richo, we can't wait to see all the action on Channel 7. Of course, if we chuck the tally on at 4 p.m. this Saturday, it'll be live and free on 7 Metres. Well, you'll be able to see it, and we've already given away Scorchers tickets, which is good news.
Yeah, they've gone to Robbie from Greenwood. Well done, bud.
Mate, we really appreciate your time.
It's going to be absolutely magnificent. Channel 7 decided to go down their hierarchy and pick an unbelievable team to commentate. James Brayshaw was there. Of course, a Perth boy, Alistair Nicholson. Justin Langer will be there. Ricky Ponting, Brad Hodge. The list will go on. Jay Richardson just missed out. Look, he was close.
No, Alistair Nicholson was from Adelaide.
On the... Well, that's right. So all these bloody imposters are there. What has Langer got that I haven't got?
So when was the last time you were over here, by the way? Because you never get a Guernsey over this way.
Well, that's right. Because you know why? Because they have said, listen, I've got to keep you and the Nova crew apart. Sounds not big enough for all of us.
That's true.
You know.
That's true.
Oh, Nova will lose its licence, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Love your work, Richo. Thanks, buddy.
See you, mate.
See you soon.
Give our love to Kate.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.